Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at progress in Python. And progress is a module that allows you to create progress bars. And of course, progress bars are very useful when you're waiting for stuff to load, because if you don't know how long's left, you can't be sure if your program is crashed or in an infinite loop or something, or if it's going to take several days and it's not worth waiting. But if you've got a progress bar, that can be very useful. And there is a module for that, which, as I said, is called progress. So if we're going to use it, we need to install it with pip. So just pip install progress. And then, and you can see I've already got everything installed. So the first thing we're going to do is, rather than importing everything individually, we're going to say from progress.bar import star, because we want all the bars. Then we want to import all the spinners, all the counters, and all the colors. Except we don't want all the colors, we just want the colors. And we're also going to import random and time. And the first thing we should do is we should create a bar called bar and just print it so we can see what it is and what it does. And all you can see is that it's a bar. And actually there are many types of bar. There's also a charging bar, which looks slightly different, but at this stage you can't see anything. The thing to know though is that this is the parent class. So what we'll do is we'll write a function for the bar and then apply it to everything else. So we're going to write a function called display bar, and this is going to display bars. And so we actually need a bar type, and we're going to set the steps 1000 just so that things run a bit quicker, and we'll make it slower later. So then we need to initialize our bar. So it'll just be the bar type, and we're going to set the max equal to steps. By default that value is 100, and then we'll just start it, and then we'll do nothing and then finish it. So a very simple program. And we're going to display the bar, and we're going to display bar. And you can see it started and then finished, and the bar is still empty. So if we're not going to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to say for I in range, and we're going to pick a random number between 1 and the steps. I'm just going to say bar.next. And so you can see here it's loaded, which is pretty nice. Then we're going to add in a bit of a skip, because this is something you could actually do and you might need to use. And we're going to pick a random integer between the bar.progress, which is a percentage to show you how far it's got, times the steps. Because if we just turn this into an int, then this would be 0. When we multiply it by steps, it would still be 0. And the maximum steps. So here we're just going to jump forward some random amount, and then while there are still things remaining, there's just an integer that tells you how many steps are remaining. We do bar.next. And you can see it's loaded all 1000 steps, with a little skip in the middle. And we can do this with other bars, so there's also a charging bar. And you can see they load. But there's more stuff we can do. And the first thing is we might want to make them colored. So we're going to take a random choice from all the colors, which contains all the colors you get. And just before we start, we can print the colors to see what our options are. And you can see it can be black, red, green, yellow, blue, magenta, cyan, or white. And I've got to say, black is not very useful because it just is not visible, at least on this background. But you can see here it's gone with what looks like green and red. But there are more options. And another one I want to say is the message, because we actually want to know which bar is which. So we'll set the message equal to the type of the bar type and the name of that. So this is just a fancy way, a very fancy way, of taking this name here and printing it. And unfortunately it means they don't line up. but it still means you can see the bar that we're using. So to make up for this padding, what we can do is we can just format it, and we want to go, and we want it to be left aligned, and we want it to be 20 characters long. And that almost worked, but that bit needs to be here. And so now you can see it's padded everything, and they're all aligned. And then we can do that with the filling squares bar, the filling circles bar, the incremental bar, the pixel bar, and the shady bar. The only thing is we're going to make the steps even longer so that we can actually enjoy the bars as they run. And there you can see all the different progress bars you can use and how they actually look very nice and are very easy to customize. But of course, this module has more than just bars, it has spinners and counters as well. So what we can do is we can just copy this display bar function and change it so that it's going to display a spinner. And we're going to comment this out so that it doesn't display everything each time. And the spinner we want to display is called spinner, which is the base spinner. And we can actually just run it and see what happens. And it's not bad, but you can see there are some errors. So the first thing is this go to. You can't skip with a spinner. And the next thing is actually we're going to rename bar spinner so that someone reading our code can understand a bit better what is happening. So the first thing is we're actually going to have 20 steps instead of 10,000 because we don't need that many steps for a spinner, just to visualize it. And then we're actually going to use all the steps. And we're going to do spinner.next, but here we're going to actually put in a sleep so that the spinner doesn't look like it's spinning extremely quickly. And the other thing is you can't color in spinners, unfortunately, so they don't have a color. But now we've got, steps and a message, and it will print the type. So you can see we've got the spinner there, and it loads pretty nicely. But because we've got this utility function, we might as well display all the spinners, and they all end with spinner, which is quite easy to remember. In the same way, all the bars end with bar. So we've got a line spinner, a moon spinner, a pie spinner, and a pixel spinner. And of course the padding doesn't need to be that big, but when we display the bars and the spinners, we might want to keep them all next to each other. And of course, along with spinners, there are counters. So counters are more similar to spinners than to bars, but they are extremely simple. And again, we need to replace spinner with counter so that people know that the code is actually displaying a counter rather than a spinner. And the only difference is we're going to change the time and the number of steps, because counters don't have the same go-tos as bars. But when we display counters, there are two main types of counters. The first one is counter, and the second one is countdown. And you'll be unsurprised to see how they work. The counter counts up, and the countdown counts down. It's very simple. And there are actually two other countdown timers, stack and the pi. But you'll notice that these ones don't end with count or count at the end. And you can see the other ones are more visual representation of the counter, and actually seem quite a bit like progress bars. And of course, there'd be nothing left to do except to uncomment everything and display at the end in full screen. And so we can watch as all these different bars, spinners, and counters run. You can see that progress bar is an extremely useful module if you ever need to wait for something. Hopefully you end up using it in your programs. You've learned something new, you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again, same time, next week, when everything's finished loading.